Good afternoon and welcome back to Adventures for Anyone. And today we've got a surprise, and it's right in the New York Harbor. It is the National Monument of Governor's Island. Now, right next to that Staten Island ferry is this beautiful old building that is the terminal where you can catch the shuttle or ferry to Governor's Island. It only costs you $5 round trip, so this trip is definitely for a budget traveler. The day I went was beautiful. We were racing the Staten Island ferry from next door, and when we arrived at Governor's Island, I immediately went to the gate that has all of the pertinent information on it just up the hill from the ferry. Now, just so you know, they have a map here too. And there's so much on this island. It's 172 acres sitting in the harbor. Part of it was actually man-made when they built some of the subways back in the early 1900s. Now you see that skyline back there? You're going to see some of those buildings from almost everywhere on the island, whether it be from the spa or from the oyster bar or from the castle here. Now this is Castle Williams. This was mostly over the years a prison. It is an amazing place built like a round fortress. It housed Confederate soldiers as prisoners. It was an overflow for Leavenworth at one point for military criminals, and it even reportedly, although this is a rumor, may have housed some Nazi spies during World War II. Now, Governor's Island was many things over the years: prison, military base. It used to belong to the Dutch and then the British way back in the day, and it was named Governor's Island because of them and their hierarchy. Now later on it was an army base up until the 1960s, and it was a massive Coast Guard training facility until the 1990s. In 1996, they decided that this amazing island should become a public space, and it became a national monument in the early 2000s. And as of today, even here in Colonel's Row, there are no private housing. It's a public space. Now, those vehicles you see people pedaling, they all come from a place called Blazing Saddles. You can rent about anything you can pedal from this place right over here to make your way around the island. You can also use City Bike. Now, one of the things that I stumbled upon in Colonel's Row, I passed through this archway and I came out on the other side to many things. There's a food court out here. There's many snacks here. You can get ice cream, sandwiches, foods, alcohol, whatever you want out there. And this place has something I'd never seen before. It has a place called Hammock Grove. Now, the walkways in the park here, they go by playgrounds, they go by natural habitats. They are very well maintained, but there is this Hammock Grove. It is a place where you can literally go and hang in a hammock and just relax. I loved it. It was great. The hammocks are comfortable. I couldn't believe how wonderful it was. And of course, there's that World Trade Center looming in the background. It's almost never out of view. I stumbled upon this lovely bird statue out on Governor's Island, and then I was out at the ballparks. This is on the west side of the island. Out here you have the athletic fields. You can see in the background the Collective Retreats glamping organization. You can stay overnight there with the view of the city. Here you have the stone steps going up into the area where you will find a collective garden, a great view, and even a place for the kids to climb rocks just a little bit. So as you come along the west side, you get this amazing view of the Statue of Liberty. You see New Jersey over there. You see the rest of the harbor. You see the buildings in New Jersey. The Staten Island ferry goes by every 15 minutes. And once again, South Manhattan. Here we are. We've walked around to the southwest side of the island to see the Verrazano Narrows Bridge and getting our first looks at southern Brooklyn across the harbor. It's a beautiful, peaceful place, and the ferry I came across on is not the only ferry that comes here. That is what they call the Brooklyn Ferry or the New York Ferry. It comes on weekends year-round and some weekdays during the summer. Those shipyards over in Boston were working, and then I headed inland again on this island, and I went by what they've provided for bathrooms if you aren't at any of the restaurants or facilities that have them on the island, which are several. And we are now going by the St. Cornelius Chapel. It's an Episcopal chapel, and we're heading into Nolan Park. Now, just south of Nolan Park here, you will see what they call the Children's Junkyard. It's a great art project that they do with recycled goods. And Nolan Park has been designated as mostly an arts and culture community. No one lives there. It's operated by the Lower Manhattan Cultures Council or the LMCC. They have all kinds of classes here. They do arts, they do education. It's great. There's the field out in the back by Colonel's Row that you can see. And this is just what used to be a community. Now, my last stop on my trip was Fort J. As you can see, it's a bit under repair, so I only checked it out so much. It's been a fort here for many, many years. You can still see the cannons on top. Inside, you have the barracks and the operational facility. There were times, like back in the War of 1812, that these properties that exist on this island were so intimidating that nobody came along to attack New York through this. But before you know it, you're headed back to the dual ferry docks there on Manhattan. It's a wonderful day. I highly encourage everybody to spend the $5, spend the day on the island. It's an amazing place, and I hope you enjoyed this little trip today.
Hi, I'm Terry. Thank you for joining me today on Adventures for Anyone, and join me again in the future and like and subscribe if you like what you see here. And I can teach you where to go in the Northeast, how to have fun, and how to travel the way I do, which is as a budget traveler. Thank you again. Have a great day.